Chapter 21. The Mistake. Day 63. Unregulated Environment. The laundromat on Queens Boulevard was warm. That was the only variable that mattered. Arthur Vane sat on a folding chair in the back, pretending to watch a cycle of towels spin in dryer number 4. He had been there for 6 hours. The attendant, a large woman named Rosa, had eyed him suspiciously twice but hadn't kicked him out yet. Arthur looked at his hands. They were filthy. His fingernails, usually manicured to a sterile crescent, were jagged and rimmed with black grime. He was still wearing the dress shirt from the eviction, but the collar was torn and the cuffs were frayed. He smelled. He smelled of rain, sweat, and the sharp, metallic tang of fear. He had retrieved his phone from the gutter. The screen was spiderwebbed, but it still worked if he pressed hard on the bottom corner. He connected to the laundromat's Wi-Fi. He needed a job, not a career, not a consultancy. He needed cash. Fast. He logged into Upwork. His profile was still active. Arthur Vane, Senior Data Architect. Hourly rate, $250. Job success 100%. He couldn't take a big project. He couldn't do a Zoom call. He looked like a ghoul. He filtered for urgent and no video required. A listing popped up. Database cleanup, SQL error fix, urgent, $500 flat fee. Arthur clicked it. The description was simple. A mid-sized logistics company had a corrupted inventory table. They needed a script to reconcile the IDs. Estimated time 2 hours. Arthur sent a proposal. He didn't use the template. He typed, "I can do this in 45 minutes. Send the credentials." 3 minutes later, a ping. Offer accepted. Arthur felt a surge of adrenaline. It wasn't the chemical rush of Adderall, but it was close. It was the rush of competence. He opened his laptop, not the sleek company MacBook, which Miller had confiscated, but an old, battered ThinkPad he had dug out of his storage unit before the eviction. The battery was at 14%. He logged into the client's server. He looked at the code. It was a mess. Spaghetti code. Redundant loops. Hard-coded values. Amateurs, Arthur muttered. He cracked his knuckles. His hands were still trembling, a fine, persistent vibration caused by the acute gabapentin withdrawal. He had to type carefully, striking the keys with deliberate force to avoid double inputs. He began to write the fix. It flowed. Even in withdrawal, even in a laundromat, the logic was there. The syntax was beautiful. Select asterisk from inventory, where status equals error. He built the query. He optimized the join. He was 90% done. He just needed to execute the update command. Then the flu hit. A wave of nausea so violent it doubled him over. His stomach cramped, twisting like a wet rag. Saliva flooded his mouth. He stood up, knocking the folding chair over. Clatter. Rosa looked up from her magazine. "Hey, be quiet." Arthur ignored her. He ran to the bathroom at the back of the laundromat. He kicked the door open. He fell to his knees in front of the toilet. He dry heaved for 5 minutes. Nothing came up but bile and spit. His body was trying to purge a toxin that wasn't there. It was purging the absence of the toxin. He leaned his forehead against the cold porcelain. He was sweating, shivering, freezing, burning. "I need a fix," he thought. "I need anything. Alcohol. Benadryl. NyQuil." He stood up. He washed his face in the sink. He looked at himself in the mirror. His pupils were blown wide, black holes swallowing the iris. "Focus," he hissed. "Finish the job." Get the money. Buy the fix. He walked back to the laptop. The screen had dimmed to save power. For percent. He sat down. He looked at the code. He needed to update the inventory table to match the shipping manifest. He typed the command. Update inventory set status equals shipped, where IDIN. Select ID from manifest. It looked right, but his brain was misfiring. The synaptic gap was too wide. He missed a crucial clause. He missed the where clause that limited the update to the specific client ID. Without that clause, the script would update every item in the entire database to shipped. Millions of dollars of inventory. Gone. Marked as dispatched. Arthur's finger hovered over the enter key. In a normal state, he would have double-checked. He would have run a transaction rollback test. But he wasn't normal. He was sick. He just wanted the money. Execute. He hit the key. The screen flashed. Query executed. 45,203 rows affected. Arthur froze. 45,203 rows. The manifest only had 120 items. He stared at the number. He had just wiped the entire inventory status for the whole company. Trucks would stop. Warehouses would freeze. It was a catastrophic data loss event. No, Arthur whispered. He tried to type rollback. Error, transaction already committed. He had forgotten to wrap it in a transaction block. The laptop screen flickered. Battery low. Then it went black. Arthur sat in the silence of the laundromat. He had destroyed a company's database for $500 he would never see. He slowly closed the laptop lid. He stood up. He picked up his bag. He walked out of the laundromat past Rosa, past the spinning dryers. He walked out into the Queen's night. He wasn't an architect anymore. He wasn't a director. He wasn't even a competent coder. He was a virus, a glitch, and glitches get deleted.